So we've all got
Okay,
young adult kids.
Are we clapping or no?
I did.
Oh,
We're
It
clapping.
happened.
I missed it.
What do we all got?
Take dos.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk money today and teaching kids about money. And there's different thoughts of this. You know, when I was in high school, we did accounting. And it's like you don't see accounting anymore. So I want to know, where did accounting go? Is it a math credit? Is it an elective? What's going on? And let's see what some of this stuff, because Ms. Tara, being the new consultant on board, is doing a lot of research.
Well, this is consumer math. Now, granted, I don't like math. That is like my least favorite subject. I don't like it at all. But the consumer part means you're buying things.
Shopping.
And our kids want to go shopping. They want to buy things. They want to save up for the stuff they want. So
That's
back to
motivation.
that finance.
Yes.
So this is like also a good level of adulting. And like, when my kids have launched out on their own, it's not just their budgets. It is all the stuff you have to learn about stuff.
Well,
It just
it's
keeps growing and
stuff
multiplying.
about
How do I
stuff.
do this? How do I find this?
It's the math you're going to use. You know, that's you may not have a mathy child, but every child needs to know how to spend their money. And so you get your requirements in. You get your algebra and geometry, which were required in Illinois. But then after that, it's your choice to go into algebra 2, calculus, pre-calc, you know, those choices. Or we have consumer math. And that, for me, that felt like a practical math. I took it myself. I had a student that went very mathy, one of my girls, and then one of my boys was like, please don't make me take
Give me the
another hard
essentials.
math. I'm
Yeah.
done. And so he took the consumer math and a business math. So it just
And this is
depends
math
on,
that you will use.
Yes.
All the examples are when you go to buy a house,
yeah.
this is the math that you will use.
So in the high school credit arena, a consumer math or a business math are going to be a math credit.
Right.
If you want it to be. If you said earlier too, if you're doing some of that high level math, you could use a consumer math as an elective credit, but we're also going to look at the personal finance, the stewardship, and what is the difference? So why don't you open up with some consumer?
There's quite a few programs we have, and none of them are quite identical.
Right.
And again, the consumer math part, you'll look at the book and how many math problems is your child solving.
Yeah.
But then there's all this extra stuff.
And we get that phone call where, okay, tell me the difference between all of your consumer maths. And so it is nice to know what is kind of the major difference between some of these, which we'll cover. And the neat thing about this one, it's our newest.
Yes, this is our newest.
So-
It's by Master Books. There's two elements to it. It is the student text and the teacher guide. Now this threw me off at first, but this teacher guide actually has all the student worksheets. This is not an optional teacher guide. This
Right.
actually has all of the worksheets that they need.
And you see the
have to
same
have it.
format with the teacher guide like that in many of the master books
Yeah, the
materials.
daily lessons, there's a good amount of math in here, but this is also a Christian program, so we have a lot of faith infusion.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to biblical principles and why are we making these decisions in budgeting?
Right.
Why does this matter? Why do we have to pay taxes? Why? Why?
Yeah. From the
other-
viewpoint of God gave it to you, now how do you take care of what he gave you?
The other
You
thing
know,
I really like about
stewarding.
this program, it is brand new, which means the reference points have a lot of modern content. Because these days, their budgets look different than ours did at their age. They have streaming services.
Oh, think about how
meal
banking
delivery
has
services,
changed.
online banking. We're
Yes.
not. I don't know if our kids write checks anymore. It's
they do
going
not.
beyond. So I do like the fact that this is a very modern version, very easy for the child to do on its own. A lot of case studies and stories. Like here, let me get this principle and put it in a story for you. Susie and John, bought their first house. This is what happened to them, and what do you think? And also offering that biblical world view of stewardship and how we spend our money. So very
Is
nice
this a full
layout.
year?
This is a full year, and there's plenty of math in here. And they also have a lot of good mental math in here, which is really great because at this point, hopefully in your student's life,
Yeah.
they can do some math in their head.
Do you feel like there's a percentage of a consumer math that is just basic math and then they apply it to life?
That's a great
Is that
question.
general?
I
Like,
think
here's
most
the
of
math
these
to apply
consumer
it.
maths are that way.
Versus here's the application, and then you'll do math with it. But again, these have lots of fun topics that you don't realize the things your kids have to learn even. If you're going to like this, I think in that book, the insurance. All these words about insurance. And I get teenagers, they start buying car insurance or looking into medical insurance, all these terms that you don't always know. And it's nice to start adulthood having some of these terms
I feel like
understood.
insurance might be the most adult thing ever.
You have to break it to them little by little. Like, kid, this is what you're coming up against.
Gambling that something bad's
Rest of
going to
your life
happen.
is going to be insurance and products like that. So this is Masterbook's consumer math.
And their stuff is
books.
pretty affordable and very tidy. One teacher book, one student book. Could a kid do this pretty independently, you think?
For sure.
For sure?
And then if you wanted the video course, Masterbooks does offer the video course through their website.
Okay, in addition.
love that.
Not essential, just an option.
Just a little extra. So
How many lessons is in this?
probably 180, right? Aren't they? Not 180, but they're always, Masterbooks has always got that.
36 weeks.
Yep, that
yeah,
exact
standard school
36
year.
weeks.
Some of these, so in most states,
nice.
that is a full credit. Do you know in Indiana, though, that would be a 2-credit course?
Oh, wow.
Because each semester. I think that's unique to Indiana. I'd love to hear from
Interesting.
Indiana
Yeah.
or any other state that
Yeah.
might do the 2-credit thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, these are also mathy enough for the 9th grade to the high school. Like, the math is not so advanced you need to take algebra 2.
Right.
Right?
You
So you can
could-
jump in, if you want to do this
Yeah.
earlier, you could. If it's percentages, formulas, dividing, adding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if for
Okay.
some reason you had younger kids who want to do it, go
So
for
that's
it.
a Christian option. And Amber,
Yeah.
you've got a business
I've
math.
got Abeka's. Abeka has 2 options. They've got consumer math and they have business math. And what is the difference? Business math is going to be more of an entrepreneurship spirit to it.
Ooh, I like that.
And so we have a lot of that going on. So my son, who did not want to take the harder math, is also my entrepreneur brain. And so he enjoyed this
He
course.
saw value in business
Yes.
math.
And I will say that I feel like consumer math programs like Masterbooks, like Abeka, Bob Jones, they have an element of intermediate math in it. So you're doing like a review of all
Beyond
the math
basic.
that you have used.
Okay.
And you're doing finances. So that makes it like that full year. My brother actually teaches in a Christian school. He chose that over consumer math. He says, I'm just going to teach business math. It gives a good view over
Work
everything.
text.
You're going to get the 170 lessons. You have the student workbook. Abeka always has the drills, and so that's what this other book, they're going to have exercises they're doing, speed drills they're still doing.
But and you get back to that terminology, though. A lot of the
Right.
vocabulary. And I think
Right.
it's so fun for a kid in high school to do business math, because if they're saying to you, I want to go into business, they can take this course and say, yeah, I like this, or
Right.
maybe I don't want to do
Not for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do business.
Counting the costs and things. Where consumer math is going to have a chapter at the end of the book that is business math. So it has a little bit of a quick overview, but otherwise the rest of it
Is it more family focused than business?
It is more of
focused?
like, it's going to have a lot of, they overlap, and they even say that. The concepts somewhat overlap, but the focus of consumer math is going to be more on the consumer. It is Christian, but it's not heavy stewardship principles like consumer math of Masterbooks or the consumer math of Bob Jones. But it's going to be, you're buying your car, you're getting your house, you're
Making
doing your
a grocery
bank,
budget,
all
right?
these different
Yeah.
things. And then also, different than the business math, where there are a lot of problems in it. With consumer math, you're going to also have they have just tons of story problems,
the answer key?
logicking, things like that. And then this is the teacher key to the skill and review exercise, which the student book would look just like it. So basically, they extracted out of it. You're also going to have everyday practice exercises, and that's where like the general math comes into play, where you're practicing that general math. You're getting things shored up. With the consumer math, just a fun side note, if you want to open that up, Tara, to the pink tab. My son started working for Ameren, which is an electric company here and gas company here in Illinois, and they teach the kilowatt in this. Now I will say that I'm going to be a little older next year, and one of those milestone birthdays next year. Okay, I took the first edition of Abeka Consumer Math.
Way back when?
Back in the day. This is second edition, and honestly, they're due for an update because it is a little dated in some of it, though some things are just don't date. Spending money does not really
Well, I think
get
when you're
too
looking-
dated.
If you're looking
but
at a consumer math program, though, I think that is one thing to look at, is what is the date it's published, because
Right.
that will be reflective in the
So,
content.
so you might hear, oh, that consumer math is a little dated. For example, a lot of the electric meters now are digital.
Yeah.
But I will say, when Jack went to work for Ameren, they're like, oh, you know how to read these? And he goes, yeah,
These antique meters.
I was homeschooled. And they're like, really? That's impressive. And but Abeka did teach in their math program, even through the younger grades, how to read the meters, the old style. But that was just like a little fun side
And of
thing.
course,
I didn't know that would be in
writing a
consumer
check,
math.
right?
Right.
Got the
I've never
classic.
thought to look at my meter.
Well, I mean, do you think to go out and look at your meter and then
I trust
look at
them.
it again the next month, and then how many kilowatt hours am I paying for? What is the price? You know, you can source your energy a different way. I mean, all these things start breaking down. And then also, they have every so often they'll have an analytical skill where they're going to give you like a life application. So and so, you know, Susie got a job. She's going to be making $5.85 an hour. That shows how what it is.
See,
She works
it's all
15
dated.
hours a week, you know, and she's going to give this to her church and this to her parents, and you know, let's figure out the percentages and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's more of an analytical style to that.
What an interesting discussion to have with your teenagers.
Right.
What if you only made $5.85? Would that cover the cost of your gas going back and forth to work? Do you have to buy lunch? Do you have to pack a lunch?
Right.
How much time is this taking? and how much do you need to make to cover your own cost of having a job? I think that's a valuable discussion. So
And a
I'm
lot of
not
these
too put
programs-
off by these outdated.
No.
Even the writing a
because-
check, just know what it is.
Right.
You're not going to use it, but
And
it's
how to do it.
still keeping track of your money. So in lieu of writing checks, now we're looking at our online banking on our phones or whatever we're doing.
Right.
But at the time, so then you could talk about, well, it took time to write a check. It takes no time.
It costs money to write a check now, too. Checks are more expensive.
That's why
than
I
they used
stopped
to be.
buying checks. They cost too much to order.
We only write checks once now.
tip.
it seems like. But you know, writing a check makes you stop and think.
Yes,
Where
that's what I'm getting at.
sometimes with the ATM card, it's just swipe it.
You don't feel the money
yeah,
going out of your account. You see
Yeah.
it and you're like, oh, it's like almost like a little number game you're playing on your little
Right.
phone is your bank account. And I just think, you know, there's a lot of value in learning that how people used to do it. You know, 10 years ago, let alone 30 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I mean, it's just
Crazy.
changed.
So fast.
Changed a lot.
I have a Venmo, and I feel so cool.
Well, we haven't even mentioned auto withdrawals for your
Oh
bills.
goodness! This year at our
bills just
garage
get
sale,
paid.
this is crazy. At our garage sale this year, people repeatedly asked,
Yes, for-
and we have a garage sale every year in our family. We declutter and get rid of it, and I've taught the kids how to. That was honestly, that's a really great way of
Yeah,
all-
it is.
to teach your
Learn
kids some
about
money,
money.
and sitting at the table as a second, third grader, changing
Yep.
with people.
Making change.
Oh yeah, but people wanted to do Cash App or or Venmo this year, and I was
Okay.
like, you know what? I do have a Cash App. And my kids had to help me, but here, Mom, this is how you make a
It's like a
QR code
combination
so they can
of-
do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead and set that up for
Bit of
me.
the old, how
But-
things used to be, and then this is how things.
I think
how
there's a lot
things
of
are.
value in the
Right.
comparison because it just takes a moment to pause and think, wow, stuff has changed so fast.
Yeah.
And what are any alarms that come with the money being so fast?
Well,
Can you get hacked?
Right.
What is the not cyber currency? What is that called?
Crypto.
Crypto.
Whatever.
Thank
yeah.
you. See,
I think Master Books has a few of those kind of stories in there. Like, hey, here's
Okay.
our new issues
Yeah.
coming into consumer math that weren't here 10 years ago that we
Right.
have to be aware about. It's even like being scammed.
Yeah.
It's like a nonstop thing we got to teach our kids.
Oh,
Here's not time to
wow.
get scammed.
so some of these older workbooks or textbooks, it's still a framework to have these discussions. It's
Right.
not that, yeah, okay, maybe the printed word is obsolete, but the principle isn't.
Right, exactly.
Right, right. Finances are just such a key. They're one of the things that will hurt a marriage. They're one of the things that can hurt a person. And so teaching your kids, what a great responsibility we have as parents to teach our kids how to manage their money. And as Dave Ramsey says, how you tell your money to go instead of it telling you where it goes. You tell it where it goes. And
High school is
that's
such a great time for that.
It
You start
is.
to make that
It's a
first
life
little bit of money
skill.
coming in and those first
Yeah.
expenses and to start teach them that while they're under your roof.
Yeah. And it's also a good time during consumer math to pull your kids into your world of finances. So
Share your bills.
yeah,
Share
this
your
is what
taxes.
and sometimes their eyes get big, like, oh, this is
How
what
do
we
you do
pay to
this?
live here. This is what we pay for electricity. Oh,
about
that's
turn off
why
the
you
lights.
always get on me to stop taking such long showers. That water bill's real. You
Don't
know?
leave the fridge door open when you're
And pulling your kids
Loading
into the
groceries.
real world of finances, it's a perfect opportunity. And some parents will even turn some finances over to their children. Or here's a grocery budget. You get to go do the grocery shopping during home ec or whatever. I mean, I got to do that for our family when I was homeschooling. And that helped me understand the value of the dollar, how many people we're feeding. Wow, mom really does make this stretch. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's
A couple times my adult
so
kids
practical.
have repeated that meme to me, which is like, Mom was right. We do have food at home. Like it costs a lot of money.
costs a lot to
eat
go out to eat.
Yeah,
Yes.
like we do have food at home. Let's make this stretch. And a
the
lot of these
idea-
programs like
yeah.
give you details on that. Here's how we're budgeting. Here's how we
Right.
look at prices and unit prices.
right.
And it's not saying don't do anything fun. It's saying be thoughtful. Be thoughtful. What is my budget for the fun stuff and the out of the house things?
Yeah.
So we've got some other options.
Yeah. Bob Jones has a strong stewardship to it. So that's the Christian view, but of overseeing what the Lord has given you. Every chapter is going to end with like stewardship and scripture. So, you know, never speculate or cosign. You know, and why biblically?
That's
Why
good.
would you be careful of doing something like that? So there's going to be a lot of life tying in the biblical principles into that stewardship and consumer math. If you want a really strong Christian, I feel like Bob Jones trumps on this one, and then Master Books as well has that flavor. So we get a lot of Abeka Bob Jones is kind of sisters sometimes in the way they're
There's a
presented
lot of parallels.
because they are used
Formats,
often in the Christian schools and in the home. If you want to have the online teaching, both of them have that available. About Abeka Bob Jones and Master Books. You just have to purchase it through the publisher, but you can get the teaching that way.
There's another Christian option, that the stewardship.
So stewardship would be a little bit more personal finance than consumer math. There is math in here, just not as much math.
Right. This is more of
Now,
a
this
semester.
is by the same authors of Matthew C, so you'll kind of recognize the same,
Demme learning.
the same kind of, the same thing. Now, this book really does focus on the parents. Like, it is written to say, hey,
Yeah.
parents,
This is the
talk to your
workbook.
kids about this.
Oh, I
It
love
really
that
is
about this program.
family-centered and
Yeah.
principle-centered.
Conversational.
Yeah.
But again, though, this has got those topics. I think here, this
is
one
pretty
talks
black and
about
white.
plumbing and electrical.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think of that as consumer math, but then again, though, we have measuring the diameter of pipes, and then there's your basic math problems through there. Then they have an extra book special with just the biblical studies, more of a deep dive.
So what are the three
into
pieces here?
stewardship. The student workbook, the teacher's manual, and then the biblical studies is like the
need
extra
all
one,
three?
just with the Bible study element of it.
And it's a semester, right?
I would say closer to a semester.
Yeah.
It probably could
Semester
be stretched out.
credit.
Credit, yeah.
You know, any of these semester courses, you can stretch out with more math, more application, more
Sure.
projects, and build kind of a portfolio. So you have this framework.
Here we
What
go.
would you put on your transcript for stewardship? How would you? Because I don't feel like stewardship conveys
Personal finance?
Personal
across
finance.
the board
Close enough.
more
Yeah.
personal finance than
But it does
consumer.
have some of those
Christian principles.
and
in
it's
it.
some of those, like, again, like life skills in there too. There are some life skills. which I
So
think is
consumer,
helpful.
no, not
Personal
consumer
finance.
math. So it's not
Yeah.
enough math to be a math credit.
I don't think
So
there's
it
quite
falls
enough math.
into.
But there definitely
Right.
are math problems in here.
On our transcript
Yeah.
with the Abeka, we used consumer math. It was just that consumer math 1 credit, and then it was business math 1 credit, and that's how we counted it. And it was under math. Now you could also use it as, I feel like if your student did geometry, algebra 1, algebra 2, and whatever, that you could slide that
Didn't
consumer
need
math into an
another
elective
math.
for a full credit. You know, so yeah.
This is, again, it's personal finance, but a little bit fuzzy because it's got some extra topics in there than just.
So
feel
the
like-
best title would be personal
yeah,
finance.
because this is more true personal finance.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's
let's
all
talk true personal
all
finance.
budgeting, all taxes,
All the time.
But yeah, all
Yes.
the time. And this is really close.
I feel like this is the concentrated version of finances.
And beyond personal finance. These are both kind of similar in that they're probably half credit courses,
They
one
are.
semester.
Yes.
All finance, all like real life budgeting, getting into the weeds of making those budgets, seeing what happens. They both have video components. So we have
Yes.
a video teaching here. Now, the video component on Beyond Personal Finance is really fun because it's like a simulation game.
Right.
Where they actually have a real job.
And it's required part of it, too.
And things happen. And the best part about this one is they have this element called plot twist, which is like, oh, you're having
It's
a
like
baby.
the game of life.
Yes, you're having a baby. This is going to change your budget.
Your car broke down.
Your car just broke down. And the funny thing is, like in some of these things, they say, can the child get like a redo and go back? It's like, well, yes, in this course, we allow them to go back and like
Back
fix
in
it.
time.
But in real life, we don't
have to go forward.
We don't get go backs.
Right.
So these, I think, would be great options too for like classes, co-op groups, to kind of compare that journey together. Hey, how's your budget going? Oh man, I'm down.
My fridge broke.
I'm having a baby. They actually have a whole section here about getting married. I thought that was interesting that they're like, here's things to consider when you're
It's a big factor.
budgeting together.
Right.
So
And it even, like when things happened.
yeah.
With just the different things. This one focuses on life from like 21 to 40.
Yes.
And
A
it
sample
really,
life. Yeah.
it does. It just kind of walks you through life choices that are coming ahead.
Purchasing
and
a
I
house,
think that's
purchasing
kind
a
of
car.
Now this
Yeah.
book, the pages look like
Almost
like
PDF.
screenshots.
Yes.
They're really
Yeah.
a supplement to the video.
Yeah.
It's like almost like notes to watch as you're watching the video.
But you need this to get the
Yes.
video. So when you have to
Yes.
order this to get the video.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a teacher manual, but it's not super duper required because it's the same thing as a student with a few answers in it, but it's not.
Are you
like,
giving grades in
solutions.
this one?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But
Maybe
they
more
are.
of a pass fail.
But they are working through it, and you can work through it slower or longer. But each chapter has like the lesson, and then you have your spreadsheets, which are constantly
projects.
recalculating
Yeah.
your current. It's like you're budgeting for your family. Where are we at? What
Yeah.
happened this month?
Well, and at convention, I had 2 ladies stop by and say, "Hey, just so you know, we use this in co-op. It's amazing because
great in a
we do the
co-op
video
setting.
together, and then the kids go home. They do their project,
People can share
And-
how their budgets
yeah.
went for the month. Right?
Yeah.
What's going
and the
well,
kids love the plot twist." She said.
Life
The
is
plot
all
twist.
plot twist.
I mean,
right?
hello.
It's all it is.
Pivot.
Plot
And
twist.
Dave Ramsey's is just, of course, everybody knows Dave Ramsey. So
So the personal finance was not any Christian content. Do we call
It's
it
neutral.
No, it was
neutral? This one, yes or no?
So
That's-
this personal finance is neutral, but
Okay.
he has an optional module called devotionals. So you have like the biblical content in a separate module if you wanted to add that in.
So it comes with, but you don't have to use it, and
Right.
it's not in
Right.
print.
Yes. It's
Okay.
In the, it's in the videos related to Bible study or like a devotional.
It's kind of a sidebar.
yeah.
So if you wanted to incorporate that, you could.
Okay.
But
My
this is so much
daughter-
terminology. Look at this personal finance. You realize how much vocabulary there is to learn.
Yeah.
So I'd like that he introduces all the vocabulary that they're going to be hearing in their life. For
Dave
money.
Ramsey just is so practical in his steps. And my daughter-in-law she listens to Dave Ramsey every day. So my son, who took consumer math and business math, we're like, okay, whatever. Marries this girl who's all about, hey, no, we can't afford to buy
beans and
fries
rice,
today.
beans and
yes,
rice.
Dave Ramsey says, and so they live the Dave Ramsey way, and I'm proud of them. They're young. They got
Set the
married young.
envelopes.
They've got our first
Yep.
grandbaby, and they're saving up for the house, and
Yeah.
they've weighed the benefits of renting versus owning, and it's just kind of cool to see these young 20-year-old kids making such big adult decisions with better wisdom than we did. And I think it's because they have invested into more of the consumer math study, the Dave Ramsey ideals, and it's just kind of awesome to see.
Almost every program here
their
does have an element
better
of, even if
decisions.
it's not a Christian focus, it's like, hey, don't budget, plan ahead for what you're going to buy. Look at things carefully. Don't be,
Yeah.
Impulsive. All those basic principles we can agree on
Yeah.
that kids have to learn. Sometimes learn the hard way, but they have to learn.
You will listen and learn, or you will live and learn.
I'd rather than have them learn the hard way when they're 14 than when they're 25.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sooner I
little
think
higher
you get these
stakes.
principles in.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple other programs that were similar. And one, AOP is more the neutral version of
Yeah, this is
consumer
Life
math.
Packs. Can you show
Yeah.
them the box real quick? So Life Packs are the set of 10 units. The student reads them, writes in them. They're consumable. There's a quiz at the end, and then you move on to the next unit, right? So this is the solution key,
There's
and
lots
they
of math
come in a
in here.
box like this.
Lots of math in here.
Yeah. So when you're buying a Life Pack, you want to keep an eye out. You can buy the student units only, or you can buy the boxed set that has the teacher and the unit. So if you already have this, you can buy just the units. But you looked through this, and even though this is from
Some of these.
AOP, Alpha Omega Press, there was not
There's no
Christian,
faith-based content, no
faith-based.
scriptures,
no tithing.
no tithing. Yeah. It was, like,
so-
okay, this is very, very,
Yeah.
very
If you need a
neutral.
neutral option, this would be a good option.
We'll switch
for
our
you.
label from Christian to neutral, because I think we had it as Christian, thinking everything they do is, but you really scrutinize that.
But it's a great program in terms of a lot of good math. You're going to go through those calculations.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of that terminology and vocabulary related to personal math.
It's
personal
efficient.
finance.
And it's easy to take and go, because this
Yeah.
is unit 2. There's 10 units, so hey, I'm on unit 2. We're running to the dentist or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm
Take
just
it in
going
the
to take
car.
this with and work on it. Very independent.
It is an independent
And
option, yes.
parents like that. That's nice.
I mean, any of these could kind of pivot to independent versus family discussion.
Right.
They can even pivot to from a semester to a full year. So there's a lot of flexibility here. And in the not accounting, in the documenting side of what it needs to be, there's even some flexibility there. So this is a big area of you can make something work for you.
Depending on what your
family.
kids need, how much math practice they need, how much math
Lots
credit
of
they
wiggle
need.
room.
Yes.
This is a little series.
This is a 6-book set. I thought this was so fun, and this is another neutral option with no Christian content.
Here's trades,
But these
banking.
are math, and then again, these have math problems in them. Your child will be doing math. And again, a lot of this is like stuff they might have learned in 7th grade, but sometimes before they leave the house, you're like, let's make sure you really do know how to do this.
Right.
Right? Like let's get the basics down. Let's not get
What
so
is
high in our head.
25% off? I don't know.
I can do that in my
It's a
head.
lot of math, but again, terminology, so each
Yeah.
workbook covers a different.
I've got the math
Element.
of trades and professions, the math of automobiles and transportation, the math of housing and taxes. Here's the math of work and the math of banking and credit, the math of personal finance and investments. So units, very manageable, think 3 a semester, or compact it to 1 semester and do all 6. But these are ones, so this is a 2011 copyright, but the conversation points stand.
Well, even a book
Taxes,
like
yeah.
this, the trades and professions, are going through the basics of these. Again, they might have something spark in them. Go, oh, that looks like a fun field. I want to learn about.
Or you look up how much plumbers and electricians make, and you're like, whoa,
Or many
sign
kids
me
like,
up.
oh, I never want to do that again in my life.
There's
That's
that
all right.
too.
We're going to learn about what your neighbors are doing when they go to work.
Well, here at work, your time card.
Yes.
Sometimes
I mess mine up a lot.
Well, and back you used to have to keep track of, oh, I did that wrong. I messed that up. My hours don't add up. And when you're investing your life into your work, and you're like, I think I got shorted. Oh, I made a mistake. Like you start to count the cost.
Yeah.
Like I didn't clock in there, so therefore I lost 2 hours of pay. I need to let the office know. Or, how to add it up. Did I hit 20 hours this week? Did I hit 30 hours this week?
It's like the transition when our kids go
Yeah,
from
so
their
that's a-
their like gig jobs to like
Yes.
real
Yeah.
jobs. Like, hey, when it's a
Where
real
they're
job,
supporting themselves.
there's different rules though for real jobs, right? Like the way taxes are, time cards,
Yep.
different definitions on there. What are all those words on my pay stub mean, right?
I think it's amazing
Who's
how
FICA?
Yeah,
Why
who's
am I giving
FICA?
Why do you
much
take
money?
so
Why'd
much
you
out
take
of my
my money?
paycheck?
I think it's so interesting watching your big kids figure this stuff out, and suddenly, like you said, being amazed at what stuff costs. My younger son has a house, and he mowed his yard and put a fence in. I couldn't get that kid to mow. He was too busy playing football or basketball or whatever. And it's like all of a sudden, it's like they hear. My point is, the stuff you put in their head in high school, it's in there.
It comes back eventually.
They just don't see an application until they have their own place, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, oh, if I don't do that, that's not getting done." And all of these big kid skills come into play, from maintaining your card, maintaining your house,
Right.
paying bills. All of these things really.
Yeah.
You're
are
teaching them
valuable.
too how to learn and how to make those good decisions too, because the world's still changing. And in 3 or 4 years from now, there'll be something we get in the mail and go, oh great, we got to get a new thing, or
You mean I got to do more than Venmo? I thought I was
Yeah.
capped out at cool.
or there's like identity protection plans, right? Oh, we got to protect your identity now. All the stuff that we didn't have to do when we were younger.
Right.
Now we gotta-
extend your home warranty.
Yeah.
Don't fall for that one.
There's so much to learn. I get scammed, right?
And the scam thing. What a valuable conversation.
It happens.
Oh my goodness.
We had that conversation with our parents too.
One of my boys learned the lesson the hard way. They're buying something online, and I think he lost $500, which is a lot for
Yeah.
a kid who's
That's a lot,
mowing
yeah.
grass and working jobs and stuff. And we're like, how did you, well, it was one of those,
They're very convincing.
they are.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful. So helping your kids navigate that, if they do any type of online purchasing and things, just how to be careful nowadays, and that there's a lot of people out there don't have your best interest at heart.
So you have to just be aware. Be aware, don't be scared, don't be fearful, but be
Right.
smart.
Yeah.
All of these valuable life lessons for our young adults. If you've got some questions or some valuable lessons you'd like to share in the comments, we'd love to see them.
Yeah.
We're not doing a giveaway today, but you know what? Check your post. On these last 2 shows, we've had giveaways, and I think we don't have a winner yet. So if you signed up for those, make sure to pop back and see if you won.
And all our programs will be in the description.
David's going to put links to everything. Love you, David.
Oh, good stuff.
And maybe share how you use consumer math at home, how you're helping your kids get ready for real life. And because everyone sees all the comments, and it's kind of helpful.
Oh, everybody
Yes.
inspires everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's more stuff
Yeah.
out there than just this.
Right.
So much.
Yep, so much.
See you next time.
Thank you.